Hi everyone, welcome to today's GCSE Foundation Revision video. There's 79 days to go into your GCSE Maths exam, and today we're going to be focusing on the topic of angles and parallel lines. So angles and parallel lines, if you've got the Corbettmaths revision card, that's card number 4, and you've got your alternate angles, corresponding angles, co-interior angles, and vertically opposite angles. And in this video, I'm going to go through each of those now. I'm going to give you some questions to try yourself as well. So remember to pause the video to try the questions and then see how you've gone on as well. And at the end of the video, I'll also share the link to the practice questions. So let's get started.
Okay, so let's have a look at today's topic. So today's topic is angles and parallel lines. And here's part of the Corbettmaths revision card. So we've got alternate angles and corresponding angles. So whenever we've got parallel lines and we've got a line that cuts it, so the transversal that cuts those parallel lines, you'll find that lots of the angles are the same as each other. And what we do is sometimes we've got names for them so that whenever we say that that angle is the same as that one, we can then give a reason for it. So here, if you've got a lines like so, these parallel lines, and you've got a line that cuts it like so, this angle here, this 75 degrees, and this 75 degrees will be the same as each other, and they are alternate to each other. So this angle is the same as this one, so we say they are alternate angles. And likewise, this angle here, this obtuse angle, and this one over here, they're alternate to each other, so we say they're alternate angles as well. So whenever you've got those parallel lines, this angle and this angle are alternate to each other, and this angle and this angle are alternate to each other. Some people like to call them Z angles, but we tend not to use that, or it's frowned upon, so call them alternate angles rather than Z angles. Okay, so now let's have a look at corresponding angles. So we've got a pair of parallel lines, this line and this line, and we've got a straight line that cuts them. You've got identical angles. If you have a look here, the bottom right angle would be the same as the bottom right one. The bottom left one here would be the same as the bottom left one there. The top left one here would be the same as the top left one here. And the top right one here would be the same as the top right one there. So whenever you say any of those are equal to each other, you say they're corresponding angles. So this angle is the same as that one because they're corresponding. This angle is the same as that one because they're corresponding. That one's the same as that one because they're corresponding. And the bottom left is the same as the bottom left because they're corresponding. Some people like to say that they're F angles. Again, try to use corresponding angles instead, or actually do use corresponding angles rather than saying F angles. Okay, so we've looked at our alternate angles and our corresponding angles. Now let's have a look at co-interior and vertically opposite angles. So if we've got a pair of parallel lines, and again that single line that cuts them like so, the angle here and the angle here, you'll find that they always add together to be 180 degrees. So for instance, if this one was 50 degrees, that would be 130 degrees. If this was 1 degree, that would be 179 degrees, and so on. So whatever these two angles are, they will always add together to be 180 degrees. And likewise, this angle and this angle will always add together to be 180 degrees. So that's what we call co-interior angles. So these two angles will always add together to be 180 degrees. If we know one, we can work out the other one. And then another thing to look at is vertically opposite angles. If you have two straight lines that cross each other, the opposite angles will always be equal to each other. So here we've got a 135 degrees and 135 degrees, and here 45 degrees and 45 degrees. So when two straight lines cross each other, the opposite pairs of angles are the same as each other. Okay, let's have a look at some questions. So again, we're going to go through some questions in this video. If you want to pause the video and to try the questions yourself, feel free to, and you can then see if you got them right. Alternatively, if you just want to watch me go through the questions, feel free to do that also. Okay, so here we've got two pairs of parallel lines. We've got RS and TU, and we've got some angles that are labeled. We've got A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. And the question says, which angle is corresponding to H? So corresponding angles. So we've got these parallel lines, and we've got the line that crosses them. So as you can see, we've got lots of angles that are equal to each other. A is the same as E, C is the same as G, B is the same as F, and D is the same as H because they're corresponding. The bottom right is the same as the bottom right. The top right is the same as the top right. The top left is the same as the top left, and the bottom left is the same as the bottom left. So which angle is corresponding to H? That's going to be D. So D is corresponding to H. Okay, next it says which angle is alternate to C. So alternate, so we look here and here. So these two angles, C and F, they're alternate to each other. And some people use that Z angle, but I like to think of them just being alternate like so. So the C and F. So C and F are alternate to each other. C and F. D and E would also be alternate to each other. So C and F are alternate and D and E are alternate. Okay, let's have a look at our next question. So our next question, again, feel free to pause the video if you want to, and then to try the question yourself. And whenever you're ready, press play. So we've got a diagram, and it says in the diagram, A, B, and C, D are parallel. And we've got an angle. This angle is labeled 80 degrees, and we've got this angle labeled X. And it says work out the size of the angle marked X. So as you can see here, we've got two parallel lines, and we have got some angles of the same as each other. And we've got here, X is the top right here, and 80 degrees is the top right. So that means they're corresponding angles. That means they're equal to each other. So that means that X is equal to 80 degrees. And give a reason for your answer. Well, they are corresponding. And that's it. So I've just written down the x is corresponding to the 80 degrees. They're corresponding angles. Okay, let's have a look at our next question. So our next question, again, feel free to pause the video and try this question yourself. Okay, so we've got pairs of parallel lines. We've got this line is parallel to this line. And the question says to work out the size of this angle x and to give a reason for your answer. So as you can see, we've got parallel lines and we've got angles inside of them, like so. They are co-interior angles. These two angles will add together to be 180 degrees. As you can see, this is an acute angle and this is an obtuse angle, and they will add together to be 180 degrees. So we've been asked to work out the size of this angle. So if we do 180 degrees, take away 54, that's equal to, boring, we've got 10 take away 4 is equal to 6, 7 take away 5 is equal to 2, and then we've got our 1. So that means that x is 126 degrees. And to give a reason for your answer, well, we'll say co-interior angles add to 180 degrees. So co-interior angles add to 180 degrees. And that's it. Okay, let's have a look at another question. So this time we've got a little diagram and we're told that the lines PQ and RS are parallel. So PQ and RS are parallel to each other. And we've been asked to work out the value of x. So we want to find the size of this angle. And again, feel free to press pause and to try this question yourself. And then press play whenever you're ready. Okay, so in this question, we're told that PQ and RS are parallel. And so these are parallel lines. And then you've got this line that crosses them diagonally. That means that this angle and this angle are alternate to each other. So it means that if this angle is 60 degrees, this angle up here is 60 degrees. And actually, if you wanted to, you could get your ruler, you could carry on that line and carry on that line, and you could carry on this line, and you'd see that they're alternate angles. Or some people call them Z angles, but alternate angles. So that means that this angle is 60 degrees. Now also, we've got two straight lines that cross each other. So if this angle is 101 degrees, this angle here would be 101 degrees. And now if we have a look here, we've got a little triangle and we can work out the size of this angle x, because these three angles, the 60, the 101 and x, will add together to be 180 degrees. So 101 plus 60 is equal to 161 degrees. And then if we do 180 take away 161, that's equal to 19 degrees. So it means that x is 19 degrees. And that's it. And that's it. So in this video, we've gone through angles and parallel lines. We've looked at alternate angles, so those Z angles, but make sure you call them alternate angles. Those corresponding angles, like bottom right, top left, and so on. We've looked at co-interior angles, so those angles will add together to be 180 degrees, and vertically opposite angles being equal to each other.
And that's it. So in today's video, we've gone through angles and parallel lines. It's very important you know what those terms mean, your alternate angles, which are your Z angles, but remember to call them alternate angles. Your corresponding angles, as some people call them F angles, but again, remember to call them corresponding angles. Your co-interior angles, so those angles that add up to 180 degrees, and your vertically opposite angles, so straight lines that cross each other and the opposite angles are the same size as each other. So I really hope you find this video useful. Remember to be doing your 5 a day, so remember to be doing those numeracy, foundation, and maybe even the foundation plus 5 a days, because that little alpha approach will make a big difference to your results in the end, and make a big difference to your confidence and how you get on in the exams. Also remember to try those practice questions in the description below as well. And if you've liked this video, please like and please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Thank you. Cheers. Bye.